المتحدث الرابع والدكتور عبد الله السبيعي، وهو أستاذ بحث مساعد في مدينة الملك عبد العزيز للعلوم والتقنية، يلقي محاضرة الاستثمار في مراكز الأبحاث والتطوير لأنها جاهزة الآن. جاهز يا دكتور؟
جاهز.
تفضل الله يعافيك. شكرا عبد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. شكرا سيد رئيس الجلسة. I was worried to be the last presenter and take the time pressure, but due to this switch, I'm relieved a little bit, but I know we are under some pressure for the time, so I promise you not to take a long time. So in my presentation, I will be going over CACST activities in the R&D within the electricity sector. So I will start with some introduction showing the importance of the R&D activities, and I will go over the CACST strategic objectives and how CACST is trying to or working to achieve these objectives through its R&D centers, and I will go over the project that CACST is working on. Whenever we talk about research and development, it's not easy to grasp the ultimate value of R&D. For the direct impacts, sometimes it's easy to explain. You do R&D, you produce a product, then you sell it in the market. That's a very direct one. However, when we go to the R&D in general, one way of trying to show the importance is to show the contribution to the overall GDP. So data has shown a correlation between how much you spend on R&D and how much you increase your productivity. It's very simple. The more you spend on R&D, the more you, most likely you contribute to your productivity as nationwide. However, we always strive to achieve the full cycle of the innovation life cycle, where you push it from the research at the beginning all the way to the end, to the market. However, this is not an easy task. As you can see, the technological risk is always at its highest level at the beginning. And this is why the government has to step in and try to promote and drive this cycle. Here in Saudi Arabia, we are lucky to see remarkable growth and interest in science and technology. If you look at some of the indices like the number of publications, the number of patents in the recent years, we can see a sharp increase. And this is not surprisingly, this is not a surprise if we remember the huge investment the government has put into the R&D sector, including either infrastructures, building new universities, new R&D centers, and also in the human capabilities. For example, King Abdullah's scholarship program and the expansion of graduate programs has contributed a lot to this. We are lucky to see that. However, we have a long way ahead of us. And the country is seeing strong drivers for the R&D. Here we have the Saudi Arabia Vision 2030, which has put strong emphasis on the research and development in different programs, starting with the National Transformation Program and the subsequent programs as well. And globally also, Saudi Arabia is part of some of the leading initiatives. For example, the Mission Innovation, where the more than 20 countries have worked together to achieve a clean energy revolution, and Saudi Arabia is part of this, and King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology is one of the leading participants from Saudi Arabia into these initiatives. And CACST has been working into this for a long time and continues to work, as its own vision is to be a world-class organization in science and technology, fostering innovation, promoting knowledge-based society in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And it sets its mission to achieve this vision. And recently, Recently, in the National Transformation Program, CACS has identified three major challenges on the national R&D sector. The first one is the low technological local content contributing to the key sectors in the kingdom. The second one is the lack of the R&D framework, and the third one is the lack of innovation framework necessarily to enhance the local contents. And in order to address these challenges, CACS has defined a set of strategic objectives to handle them. The first two are addressing the first challenge, and the two objectives are the localization and development of technology in sectors with a large domestic spending. And of course, energy and electricity in particular is one of these sectors. And the second one is to provide technical consulting for governmental agencies. The next three strategic objectives are addressing the challenge of lack of the R&D, and the objectives are to increase the national capabilities qualified, to maintain sustainable support for R&D, and to upgrade the infrastructure and necessary equipment. And the last two strategic objectives are addressing the lack of the innovation. And the last two objectives takes care of these small and medium enterprises and the establishment of value-added high technical startups. To achieve these objectives, CACS works in three major directions, or I would call them streams. Thank you. The first one is the CACS R&D centers, and these are internal centers for CACS. The second one is the local and international joint R&D centers, and the third one is the support programs for R&D projects in the local universities and research centers. I will be going over some activities in this regard. For CACS internal R&D centers, CACS has over or more than 40 centers. In particular, related to the electricity sectors, we have the two centers, namely the National Center for Electrical Power System Technologies, and the scope of this center focuses on the electrical system operation, the power quality, smart grids, and the renewable energy integration. The second center is the National Center for Solar Energy Technologies, and the activities of this center focus on the areas of photovoltaic technologies, inverter technologies, testing and certification for PVs, and the PV systems applications. If we look at some of the projects in these two centers, they span into different wide applications. One of them, for example, the large demonstration project in Al Khafji. It's a water desalination plant combined with a PV farm with a capacity of around 11 megawatt, and the water output is around 60,000 cubic meter per day. It's a large demonstration project. Another project is the focuses on the technology transfer of the assembly technology for photovoltaic modules. And in this facility, they have different technologies with different models. The second project, or the third project, related to the inverters technology, and also it's part of the technology transfer and the localization of this technology locally. It's a 50 megawatt string inverter assembly technology. It's worth noting that these projects are, let's say, handled and designed and assembled by local Saudi workforce. So it's contributing also to the overall local content. The next project is related to the testing and certification. It's the Photovoltaic Reliability Laboratory in Solar Village. And what is unique about this one is the dedicated equipment to simulate our harsh environment, and the protocols and tests and standards that are being developed in order to test the coming solar panels to the local market. Another direction also into the activity center, the energy storage technologies, and in the labs, our researchers, engineers, and technicians are working on different technologies, for example, the supercapacitors, the fuel cells. And also, we work in the modeling and simulation, starting from the local systems or the small-scale system simulation until the large integrated systems. One example is the Integrated Energy Decision Support System, which is a simulator that looks at the complex interactions between different systems at the macro level. Also, going back to the pilot, or let's say the demonstration project, this project is one of the showcases that CACS worked with the SEC into that. It's an installation of two 30 kilowatt grid connected PV systems in the rooftop of two schools in Riyadh. This project was totally designed and assembled using CACS facilities and CACS workforce. And the two schools has been functioning for 3 years so far and being monitored for the performance evaluation. And the results of these showcases and these projects are helping CACS to structure the next wave of the projects. The next one is the static VAR compensator project. It's one of the successful stories that CACS has worked closely with the industry, in particular, or in specific, the Saudi Electricity Company. The objective of this project was to improve the voltage profile and steady and dynamic states at the medium voltage by installing the static VAR compensator, which was a localized technology that was transferred to the Saudi local market, and it was developed entirely by the Saudi team. The next one is also contributing to the technology transfer. One of the most important equipment in the market is the power quality monitoring devices, and CACS has done lots of effort in transferring this technology. A device is called PQ device, is designed and assembled in CACS, and it's being deployed in SEC with its SEC support, and also more is coming also in the network. These are some examples of the activities that are carried out by CACS R&D centers. Not only that, also CACS is working with local and international joint centers. One of the active and biggest one is the CACS SEC Joint R&D Center for Distribution Sector. This is a very recent center. It was established in July 2015 and is supervised by a steering committee from both organization, the industry and the R&D organization. And this shows the close relationship with the industry. And the center activities focuses on 5 areas: the electrical power quality, protection systems, renewable energy integration, distribution automation and communication, and the training and building technical capabilities. And as part of this joint center, the staff is composed of a team from CACS, a team from SEC, working together using CACS existing labs and also building new labs and infrastructure for this close interaction with the industry. Although this center is recently established, it has started working on ambitious projects over the last year. One of them is the photovoltaic installation in the rooftop of one of the big mosques or masjids in Riyadh city. A 120 kilowatt system was installed in the rooftop of this mosque, and it was just commissioned last month. Another project we recall the P quality devices that CACS has designed and assembled. Now the CACS is working through the center to construct a smart monitoring system based on these PQ devices for distribution network. Also, we heard the discussion in the first session. There was a question and the responses from the panelists about the smart metering and how the smart meters are being deployed by EC. One of the current activities in this joint center is to develop a data analytics framework and applications to show how can we use those data and what are the insights that the utility can get out of the huge data that will be coming to the utility. And with the more emphasis and contribution of distributed energy resources, one of the projects is to do an optimization and allocation and study the impact on distribution medium voltage network. These are some examples of the current activities of this joint center, and there are other projects are planned, inshallah, to be conducted. And in terms of the international collaboration, CACS has constructed a network of international collaborators in different areas, in the energy, the renewable energy, energy efficiency, smart building materials, energy storage, and modeling and simulations. And you can see from the names and the logos, it's a wide network with the famous names from academia and the industry.
دقيقة يا دكتور.
Okay. And in the last direction, which is supporting the R&D projects, CACS has 4 programs in order to support and fund universities and research centers. The first one is related to the graduate student support program, and the second is the basic research support program. The third is the innovation research support program, and the last one is the National Centers for Industrial Development program. And these programs are open for the researchers and interested outside CACS. You can find the details on CACS website. However, they have cycles, they have requirements, and different targeting different projects and different researchers. I hope this gives you the idea of CACS activities in the R&D within the electricity sector, and thank you.
شكرا.